Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, my favorite is Podcaster Peach. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I'm joined, as I'm always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. I have been putting off getting a haircut for so long that the sides of my hair are, like the side of my head, the hair's almost growing horizontally,
right.
like out,
like boxy shaped.
Like, yeah, it's becoming. Well, also, I've been graying since I was like 22 years old. But
now you've got that gray that's like it's swooping back. It's long enough that it's got like a little bit of a Doctor Strange to it,
which I hate. I think I'm on record on this show saying that
you hate Doctor Strange.
I hate. Well, yeah, kind of. But I especially
because he's so arrogant.
I especially dislike Doctor Strange's hair style. The side swoops, like make me sick to my stomach. And so for me
on other people or just on yourself?
On Doctor Strange specifically. No, I'm serious. I don't know if it's the wig.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on, but there's something about it that makes me physically ill. And so seeing it in myself,
right,
like that's one of the worst feelings.
We hate the things in other people that we recognize in ourselves.
True. It's so true.
There's one of those Doctor Strange wigs in the second movie where the white swoop is so distinct, like so separate from the dark part of his hair that like I'm with you there, sick to my stomach on that. But I'd say generally speaking, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
Mark doesn't like it.
I don't. There's something about it. It feels like a side of the head comb over. Like, what you hiding under there, Doctor Strange? Like, is it only the part by your temple that is growing super long, and so you have to, like, comb it back to hide the fact that you have side alopecia?
I don't. Oh, that's a very specific thing that you're accusing Doctor Strange of.
That's my headcanon for Doctor Strange.
Okay, but, like, he could just grow hair, couldn't he, with magic?
I think he could illusion it.
Right.
And so maybe
you don't think it would be real hair. There's always a price to pay for magic.
There's always a price to pay for magic.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think he could illusion it. So he could make everybody perceive that he doesn't have side head alopecia.
Sure. But then he's rewriting people's memories and like, what is the morality of that? Is it the same as making people forget who Peter Parker is?
Exactly.
Like, what kind of interdimensional magic beings are we awakening? Just as like a vanity project.
Well, maybe this is what Charlize Theron's character is going to explore if she ever shows up in a Marvel movie ever again.
Here's the thing. A lot of those characters we don't know, right? Like, are we ever going to see that Harry Styles Star Fox character again?
I doubt
From the end of Eternals? Like,
yeah. I think they're going to pretend Eternals didn't happen. Because, they tease Blade at the end of Eternals.
Right.
And, like, Blade's going to happen.
Is it?
I think so.
I think they're trying so hard, but the only person who hasn't left that movie is Mahershala Ali. Yeah. Like, everyone else has been like, you know what? No, actually, I can't do this. I can't. It can't be done. Look, we only have one Marvel movie this year at all, and it's Deadpool. We've gone too far down this track, Mark.
All of this is to say, I've
should get a haircut.
Too long. I should get a haircut. That will solve the problem.
Right. Yes, it will. I think your gray looks very distinguished.
Thank you.
And nice. And the swoop makes me sick to my stomach. If you would like to help Mark get a haircut, you can go to patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you are supporting us at the 8-bit or 16-bit levels, you can get access to our once-a-month episodes of miniseries. We are currently recording a miniseries called NCS Arcade.
Yeah, Patrick and I are playing games that we've never beaten that are also available on Nintendo Switch Online and Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pack. We just released an episode about Kirby Tilt and Tumble, which was originally released for the Game Boy Color. That was a really fun discussion. Obscure Kirby game, I would say.
Yes.
That was fun to talk about. And
a challenging Kirby game, although Mark didn't think so.
Well, because I cheated, basically.
Well, people got to go check the tape on that one.
And then on this month, in April, we're going to be talking about a Sega Genesis game. We're going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Which, look, it is maybe a little bit embarrassing for me to be like, which, by the way, I've never beaten. But it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I never owned a Genesis. And when Sonic plays so differently from Mario that I remember going to friends' houses and just like not getting Sonic. And even when Sonic Mania came out, a game I ended up loving, it took me a long time to understand the physics of it. So now that I love Sonic Mania, I'm excited to check out Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Do you think when Sonic the Hedgehog grows old, do you think his like quills turn gray?
I do. They probably droop a little bit too.
Oh, I don't care for that at all.
Maybe that's what I would like to see. I was going to say maybe this is what we need, but we don't need it. Nobody needs it. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah.
We have classic Sonic.
Right.
We have modern Sonic.
This is great.
We need old man Sonic.
Yeah. And look, the old man the old man blank is like a tried and true formula. Again, we're going to see it this year in Deadpool and Wolverine. Wolverine's going to be old man Wolverine. Yeah, I think we should, honestly, I think all of our Nintendo characters we should be seeing old man versions of.
Yeah, like Cranky Kong the heck out of every
single one.
Every
yes.
character.
And they all changed their name to Cranky whatever.
Yeah.
Cranky
Sonic.
Yeah, Cranky Peach.
Ooh, oh, so fun.
I love that.
I love that.
And she doesn't have to die and become a ghost.
No.
Like Wrinkly.
But they can.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, like whatever works for the character.
Sonic. Sorry, Cranky Sonic. Ghost Sonic.
Wrinkly Tails. Special thank you to all of our patrons. We have a new patron. Thank you, Tucker Croft. We appreciate you giving. We appreciate everyone participating in the Discord or in the Patreon and the Discord and listening to the show. Thank you all so much. The Discord, I just mentioned it. If you would like to get in there, all you gotta do is email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com. And I will send you an invitation. We can talk about Nintendo stuff until we don't have any more Nintendo stuff to talk about. Which will never happen because Nintendo's been around for like 100 years. It'll be around for another 100 years. You know what I was thinking about getting into, Mark?
Hanafuda cards?
Yes. I was thinking about getting into Hanafuda cards. Because every time I try to play it on like 51 Worldwide Classics, I get kind of overwhelmed and I don't get it. But I think if I had physical cards in my hand, maybe that would be the difference.
I love this for you.
You want for me, so you don't want to do this with me.
I would love for you to understand it, and then you can explain it to me.
Sure, and then you won't play it with me?
Once I understand it, I think I would play it with you.
Okay. It's a real soft commitment I'm getting from you right now.
I can get totally into it.
Okay,
I can.
Right,
I can. I'm committed.
All right.
I'm going to get a haircut, and I'm going to get super into... the first thing I'm going to do is learn how to say it correctly. Is it Hanafuda?
I think it's Hanafuda.
Hanafuda.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
But write in and correct us if you want in that Discord, because that's... look, we take all kinds of corrections in the Discord. All right, Mark, let's get into it. Let's... We're talking about Princess Peach Showtime, and we're ranking the transformations. Now, this game, like a lot of Nintendo first-party games, is character-driven, right? We are being driven by the character of Princess Peach. But you and I have talked about this on previous episodes here, that we don't necessarily feel like this game does a great job of putting whatever Peach's personality is, or like developing it in any way, right? What we're getting instead are sort of like the development of 10 different personalities in the forms of these transformations.
Yeah.
So we're kind of going to approach these holistically, right? There's like a look, there's an attitude, there's gameplay systems inherent in all these things. And so we're going to break them down one by one and then try to place them on a ranking of 1 to 10.
Mm-hmm. And I have not beaten this game yet.
Neither have I.
And so I suppose it's totally possible that, on the fourth, fifth, whatever go round with some of these characters.
I think 3 is the max they go, right?
Is it?
I don't know.
Because yeah, okay. Well,
I mean, we don't know. We haven't played all the way through the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. So it's possible that there are things that happen in later transformations where they like tweak the gameplay or some element of that we have not experienced yet.
Do you find it at all strange that the 10 transformations that we have in front of us right now are the same 10 transformations we knew about before the game was released?
Yeah, it is a little bit surprising that there wasn't like a secret transformation or, some sort of end game thing that happens.
Which I honestly think says more about like the limited number of these things than it does Nintendo like strategically holding anything back. You know, like there's what could you possibly hold back from this list of 10? Like there just is no big surprise at the end of it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's different from the we didn't see all of the captures in Super Mario Odyssey before that game came out because there's like 80 of them, right?
But I feel so I think you're right that like literally the limited number of them, there's 10. But I also think it speaks to the limited ambition and scope of this game.
Right.
Like when you were talking about the 10 transformations and how they don't really tell us much about Princess Peach, this feels like a game that to me was instead of the classic Nintendo game development strategy of creating like a fun gameplay first and then figuring out what characters should like use that gameplay. This to me feels like, okay, let's make a Princess Peach game. What would that game be? You know, it doesn't feel to me that they figured out like a fun gameplay hook and then worked backwards to be like, this would be great for Princess Peach. It feels to me that they said, let's make a Princess Peach game. Here's the budget and the time allotted to do it. And like, let's work through, just like that. And then we arrived at this.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, we made a Kirby game. And, with like, it's just a little twist to that. Instead of like devouring the powers, he like gets them from being in plays. And they were like, oh, you know what? That's not totally Kirby, but that could be Peach. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I agree with you that it doesn't feel like a game of like unlimited scope or even like a real ambition towards like exploring a bunch of different styles of gameplay or even one style of gameplay very well. And more of like a we need to put out something in 2024. But like for being that is like a decent showing.
Yeah, totally. But I think that's a good point. Like compared to what we know about the development of Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yep. Or at least what they wouldn't stop telling us about the development of Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
You're right. Where, there were like thousands of ideas.
Right.
And then they selected the ones. And I'm sure that there were more than 10 ideas for transformations for Princess Peach Showtime. But
that's what we have.
That's what we have.
We have 10 of them right here. Let's kind of just run down the transformations just kind of by name first, and then we can like loop back around on them and talk about how they play, what they look like, all that kind of stuff. So starting with Cowgirl Peach.
And Sword Fighter Peach.
Patissiere Peach.
Kung Fu Peach.
Detective Peach.
Ninja Peach.
Figure Skater Peach.
Dashing Thief Peach.
Mermaid Peach.
And then finally Mighty Peach.
Right. So those are the 10. Should we start just at the top of that list describing what they look like and sort of what the gameplay is when you encounter these costumes?
Yeah.
Okay, so starting with the cowgirl, close your eyes, picture a cowgirl, you've got it. Except I guess there are some like very specific to Mario universe things here, right? Like she's got there are clearly Bowser horns on her hat, right?
Oh, okay. I read that as like steer horns.
Okay, and I get that like it feels like the horns of a bull, but like bull horns, right? Like tend to like go out and then come up, right? And are like more narrow. These look like they belong to Bowser.
That's funny. It does make me honestly want to see. Oh, you're right. I just pulled up a picture of Bowser, and they are very similar. This also makes me want to see Bowser dressed up like a cowboy. I want to see cowboy. I want to see Bowser in a cowboy hat and cowboy boots.
Now we're saying cowboy a lot. They're very specific to call this cowgirl.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then otherwise she's kind of just wearing like a lot of like brown leather.
And she, I would say the other kind of peach specific flourish to her outfit is her belt buckle is a flower.
Yep. I like that. I also like that she's like she's got chaps on, right? Like brown leather chaps. But under that, jeans.
Mm-hmm.
She's wearing jeans.
Yep.
And I gotta say, that's working for me.
It's a good look.
It's a good look.
It is. I like the denim shirt underneath with the sleeve cuffs rolled up.
Yeah, already short sleeve, but they're rolled up. Yeah, I mean, looking very smart there. And then she's wearing like a red bandana. It's
like
the
it's the brooch. It's like the clasp. Like she wears it as a brooch in the game.
Like as part of the dress. Yeah. But here it's like holding the bandana together.
Yeah.
Great. And then of course, it looks like, does she have a holster? Even though like the character doesn't have a gun, but I believe she has a holster.
It looks like she has a holster. I also like that. It looks to me that her boots are maybe like the heel is a little more pronounced than just like a regular cowboy boot, because cowboy boots obviously have a heel,
right?
But this looks more like like high heel type heel.
Yes, it does a little. I gotta say the boots are pretty understated. Like when you are selecting a cowboy boot, especially to go with a hat that has Bowser horns on it, that these could be louder boots, and they're not.
I also like that her hair is pulled back in a ponytail seemingly.
Yep, I like that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid look.
It's a solid look. She's got light leather gloves and carries a lasso. Which, when you're playing as Cowgirl Peach, she never stops spinning this thing. Like, it is constant. How do you feel? Should we talk also about like the gameplay of
let's
Cowgirl
talk about the
Peach?
Gameplay.
So there's sort of like two modes, right? There's like the normal on foot mode where you are using the lasso to like grab guys or like other items in the stage and then throw them. It means that like the boss fights with her are like kind of fun, and that like there's the boss fight at the end of the first Cowgirl Peach level where you have to like grab barrels that he's shooting at you and like hold on to them until he's done shooting like bullets and then toss it back at him. Which is just, I don't know, it's got that like turning the tables on the enemy kind of thing to it. And then there's the horse riding sections.
Yeah, which are more like auto scrollers.
Yeah. And do you know what it feels like to me a little bit? Is like level 3 in Battletoads. Obviously a much easier version of it, but like the hover bike section. Do you know what I'm talking about? Mark, come on. So it's famously in Battletoads, level 3 is a level where you hop on a hover bike and then just like the obstacles come at you.
Okay.
And they're in like a prescribed order because it's an NES game. And almost literally the only way to beat it is to memorize it because they come so fast, and the field of play is so narrow that like you can't really see them coming. You have a lot more opportunity to avoid them in Princess Peach Showtime, but I got like flashbacks to surviving that hover bike scene in Battletoads from the horse riding sections of Cowgirl.
And even in the horse riding sections, there are different elements to it. So you still do a lot of lassoing. So there will be the Sour Bunch. They'll sometimes be on horses or on a train or something, and you will lasso them to like grab them, pull them off their horses. You will have to jump over barrels or other elements. Sometimes you're jumping. There's one level where you're riding a horse on the top of a train.
Cool.
And you are like jumping from piece to piece. And then they're like this hover bike section from Battletoads that you're describing. Similar thing here where they play with the
with like the depth, right?
Yeah, the depth. So
you
there's
have
like
to be
3 tracks that you could be on, or like 3 sections of the level, and like the foreground, midground, and background.
Right.
And then you have to move between them to avoid obstacles.
Just like Battletoads.
Just like Battletoads, I'm learning.
So I mean, like all in all, like a fairly dynamic transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, she's in the Wild West, so there's like something very just appealing about like we don't get too many Wild West Nintendo games.
No.
Even when like Mario's running around, flying around in the Odyssey, like Tosteria's got more of like a Mexico vibe to it, and not like an Old West kind of thing. Where in Nintendo games do you go to an Old West style setting?
So in Twilight Princess, there's that one section
Yes.
that it's like Old Kakariko Village or something like that.
It's like the old abandoned village, right?
Yes, that has like a Old West flair to it.
Yeah.
But those are really the two that I can think of off the top of my head. It's it's really not a setting that they.
Is there a Kirby thing where he like dons a cowboy hat?
I can't remember if there's a transformation where he dons a cowboy hat. There is the sub game where it's like Quick Draw.
Yes.
That has like an Old West theme to it.
Right. But then they replaced that with like samurai stuff.
Or the samurai stuff came first.
Look, I don't care.
I can't. But yeah, it's really it's not a setting that they go to that often, and it's fun. I think in Princess Peach Showtime.
You know, what character should have a like Wild West set game? Mike Jones from Star Tropics.
Totally.
Because he's the quintessential American boy.
So when he's in the second game, he doesn't travel to the Wild West at all?
No, he goes to like caveman times. He goes to ancient Egypt. So that's got your like desert quota right there is the ancient Egypt part. Then he goes to Sherlock Holmes times. And I forget what the fourth one is. But no, he doesn't go to the Wild West.
Yeah, missed opportunity. That's why that Zoda's Revenge didn't sell.
That's right. It had nothing to do with the fact that it came out in like 1994. Okay.
Let's talk about Sword Fighter Peach next.
Let's talk about Sword Fighter Peach. So she's like a musketeer, right? But maybe even fancier.
Yes. Oh, definitely fancier.
And without the Christian iconography.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like the I get like Scarlet Pimpernel.
Yes.
Vibes from it. There's something very like romantic and swashbuckling.
Well, she not only has like a giant feather in her hat, but she also has a rose like tucked into the band around her hat. So yeah, there is definitely something like very like romantic and like fun about it.
And I think what's fun about these transformations is that they don't limit themselves at all to like, oh, this is the Peach color scheme. Right. So this is going to be a sword fighter, but you know she's gonna have that pink look to her. Like, right? Not at all.
Right. No, it's like it's mostly blue actually. And she's wearing like a red like shirt under this like blue jacket. Although the jacket itself does have like red trim. Oh, it's a smart looking jacket.
It is. It's a good jacket. I love the boots.
Yeah, the boots are really good.
The boots are made of the same. It almost I don't know what it's supposed to be. Do you think it's supposed to be like blue leather? I imagine it being like plush almost.
Oh, I mean, it looks to me like it's got kind of like a squeaky texture to it. I would think leather. But the tips of her shoes are the same as like the like outline of the lapel on the jacket is like a bright yellow, like a gold almost, which is also the color of the cuffs on the jacket.
Yep. And then of course that like aquamarine brooch is again used holding a kerchief in place. Right
over her neck. Yeah, it's a good looking outfit. Let's talk about the gameplay a little bit. The sword fighter I almost find to be one of the more frustrating ones because it feels like it has a lot of potential. Most of it is she can jump like always and swing her sword. And you can choose to push either the jump button or the sword button as you are being attacked to either do like a counterattack or do like a special like slow-mo dodge thing. So it's like a parry / dodge mechanic. And in some ways, I'm like, that could be the coolest, most like classic gamey like thing of all of this. but it's just kind of it's first of all way too forgiving. Like the window during which you can push those buttons to counter is huge. But it also like doesn't have quite the I don't know. It doesn't feel as like tactile and like fun as pulling those off in other games.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like my feedback on this one is that it's kind of like boring.
Yeah.
I think you're totally right that it feels like it has so much potential, and maybe because it's like one of the first that you encounter in the game or
Sure.
something like that, but it is it's not very fun to play.
It also just like it doesn't feel that precise, and for whatever reason, the precision, like losing that precision it doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't. In a way that I don't think like the cowgirl really matters. Like precision there, just with the sword fighter, we know what it's like to have Link swing a sword and like hit the bad guy and have that like moment of impact. And this just sort of lacks that impact.
Yeah, a disappointing transformation, I would say overall.
Yeah.
Up next is Patissiere Peach.
Patissiere Peach. No combat in this one.
No combat in this one.
Let's talk about the outfit.
One
Yes.
of the cutest,
One of the cutest for sure. Like, absolutely, she's wearing like this gingham dress and an apron and like a baker's hat. A tote? What is it called? I think toque is right.
Mm-hmm. And I love that her hair is done in these two like rings, like pigtail rings,
these braided rings. Yes. And she's wearing like big boots. And she dances nonstop.
That part honestly drives me a little bit crazy. I don't know why.
You want her to focus.
I think it's that she's doing it.
People are in danger.
It reminds me of like a fidgety toddler.
Yeah.
Where, the cutscene is happening and the Sour Bunch boss is like looming over and the thieves are crying for help and she's just like doing her little heel toe dance.
Yes. That's funny.
It does bug me a little bit.
Mark just wants her to take it seriously. That's all.
It just makes me think of what is that movie like? The Red. Isn't there like a fairy tale or something about shoes that you put on that, and when you do you can't stop dancing, like the red shoes or something like that?
Yeah, I mean that. I don't know what you're talking about, but I buy it. That makes sense.
But that's what this reminds me of. But otherwise, I really like the transformation and her. The design of this I like a lot.
Yeah, it's very cool. Let's talk about like very cool. It's cute. Like I think this is one of the more just like straight like cute outfits. The gameplay is one of the like stronger departures from like how the rest of them control, in that it is kind of just two different versions of mini games, right? One in which you are frosting different kind of pastries. You have like an example and you have to just like draw it on.
Yeah, you're like sitting on a swing.
Yeah.
And a giant cake or some sort of pastry appears below you. And sometimes the pastry's rotating, sometimes it's not. And then in the right-hand corner, there's an image that is showing you how you're supposed to apply the decorations. Right. And so you have kind of a giant decorating thing and you are placing the frosting down on the cake, and when you do it in the correct pattern, it kind of transforms into a beautiful decoration.
Right. And like it's funny that she's got this like big frosting bag that she's like piping with. Like it's the size of her, right? So like that's fun. I guess I hadn't really stopped to consider, because the cookies that she makes are also very large. Is the narrative that she's shrunk down?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Sure. Yes. It's not really. Yeah. Why is everything so?
Why
big?
is everything so big?
Yeah. And then the second part of it is like cookie baking.
Yeah.
And what that is you like
push the A button a lot.
Yeah. You push it a number of times, and there's a mixing bowl, and the more that you press it, the larger the dough grows.
But don't push it too much.
Don't push it too much, and it kind of like explodes in your face.
Right.
And then there are times where a feat will be standing next to a mixing bowl.
Right.
And when they are there, if you mix to the right amount, you get a bonus amount.
You get a
cookies.
multiplier, yeah. So you are sort of choosing which bowl to mix from, and like you can see the theats already like hanging out by it, so like you can choose to do those, and then you have to. It depends on which version it is. Sometimes you're just putting them on carts. Other times you are feeding them directly to zombies that need to be fed, or they're going to break down the doors. So like there's which like that evolution of it, I feel like adds so much dimensionality to it, because otherwise you're just sort of picking a bowl and then pushing the right number of times, and feels like really limited gameplay wise.
I feel like this is as far as gameplay goes, like it's a fun break from some of the because it is so different from the other levels. There's no platforming, there's no combat. It's all about those two mechanics.
Yeah, which like that it does feel like a break, but like in that way the rest of the game is also so chill that I'm kind of like, I don't need a break necessarily. I'm not, I love the way this thing looks. I think it's cute and funny. But I sort of dread going into a patissiere level.
Yeah, I definitely don't dread it, but it's not one of my favorites.
Okay. Next up is the Kung Fu Peach.
Kung Fu Peach. Well, I guess we'll talk about the outfit first.
Yeah.
I love this royal purple.
Yes.
Outfit.
Yeah. What is it? It's like a gi, or it's not really a gi's kind of just the shirt, right? It's like a whole like kung fu gown. I don't know what this thing is called.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called either.
But yeah, it's purple, and it's again we're talking with like the yellow trim on the sleeves and sort of like up the front where it's like bound in those like knots, that like interlocking knots, and she's wearing a black belt over it, which is also
like
very cool.
It's not black. It's like
this
right. Like dark greenish blue that matches her pants, which I love that color. And then she's wearing like knee-high socks, or at least they go up to her pants.
Right.
And
she could be wearing tights, right?
She could be wearing tights, and like the laces go up to her shin. I don't know. It's a very cool look.
There's almost a little like bit of like ballet to the way like the shoe shin like scenario kind of plays out there. She's got her hair tied back in a again like a ponytail, but it's one of those like big knots of ponytail, which feels very much like a kung fu master. And there's a like a chopstick in her hair, and the brooch is sort of dangling from that.
And I gotta say, her eyeshadow in this is looking good.
Okay, now let's talk about the gameplay of Kung Fu Peach.
I really like Kung Fu Peach.
Yes.
To me it feels like what the Sword Fighter should have been.
I agree with this take completely, because they go through the effort of making, so you're just kicking, right? Like she doesn't punch, right? It's just kicks.
Mostly, yeah.
And
no, I guess she punches. I guess she is punching, she like kicking, punches right? Like the door and stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
But the boss fights are all kick oriented.
But the thing is that like when she kicks one of the bad guys, there becomes this like momentum of they then run into the other bad guys, and like the collision feels real, feels tactile in a way that I wish the sword fighting did too. Wouldn't have to be the same thing of like knocking guys into other guys. But yeah, like the kung fu moves feel more physical.
Yeah, there's something really satisfying about, there's one part where you're walking through like a village and there's a bunch of theats, and then there's a bunch of the sour bunch.
Yeah.
And you can like kick wagons or like barrels or something like that, and they will go direct. Like, you don't have to be very precise in the direction that you're kicking it, but
right.
when you kick it, it will run into a bunch of the sour bunch. Or you can destroy some of the like overhangs that are existing.
Right.
Or there's a part where there's like a training thing that's like a pillar that has sticks out of it horizontally that's spinning around, and you can just kick the crap out of that and like destroy it. Then there's
not really in the spirit of the kung fu thing with the training. Like, you should really be like avoiding those things or whatever. But yeah,
but I like that. Like, I wasn't. It felt almost like a fun discovery to be like, oh, yeah, I can kick the crap out of a lot of this stuff, and
yes,
like it has destruction built into it. or there's a part where you're like, there's a bunch of small pillars that are, again, it's kind of playing with that foreground, midground, background.
Yes.
And the Sour Bunch are on them, you're on them, the Sour Bunch are jumping around, and like you have to jump and kick at the right time, but you can also move, forward, background. I really like this one. I think this is a ton of fun.
Yep. I will agree.
Up next is Detective Peach.
Yes. Now, we all know that there's one kind of detective in a Sherlock Holmes.
Yep. And this is no exception. It's basically like think Sherlock Holmes, but the coat is cut for a supermodel.
Yes, that's right. And then she's wearing like little shorts under it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, I don't think, does Sherlock Holmes ever wear shorts?
Does Sherlock? No, probably not.
Probably not. He lives in foggy London town.
Yes.
So I don't think they're allowed to wear shorts in London. Is that right?
I think that's true to this day. She is also wearing like thigh-high boots.
Yeah.
That lace up in the front
with like pink laces tied in a bow at the top.
It's a good look. It is what you would expect from a detective, but it doesn't really wow me.
Do you know what she's missing? Because she also has the Sherlock Holmes hat, whatever. It's a foxcatcher hat. Is that what they're called?
The
hat that she's wearing.
The movie starring
Steve Carell, and probably someone else.
Channing Tatum.
Sure.
And Mark Ruffalo. Have I ever seen this movie?
I have not.
I haven't. He's wearing a prosthetic nose.
Probably. No, you're thinking of Maestro. So this she's wearing the Sherlock Holmes hat. But you know what she's missing? Pipe.
Yes.
She's got no pipe.
Yes.
If you really want her to be sure, and a violin, right? Like
a violin. It's also kind of just like a boring coat. And even the hat is kind of boring.
Does she have kind of like a shawl or like a little like scarf that's draped over her shoulders? Here, there's some other like layer.
Yeah, is it a little cape?
Maybe it's a little cape. Maybe it's like a little cape to sort of be more dramatic as she's doing detecting. Mark looking for alternate pictures of Detective Peach to try and figure this out.
I was trying to Deer Stalker. That's what the hat is. That is what the hat is. The other Steve Carell movie,
right? Of
featuring
course.
Channing Tatum and Mark Ruffalo with
that's the one, and that's the one with the Russian roulette scene.
It must be, yeah.
Okay.
Design not my favorite,
but we got to shout out a giant magnifying glass.
Giant magnifying glass,
like the size of her head. Again, we're forced to ask: is she small? Is that what's happening here?
Is something medically wrong with Princess Peach?
Or is she become the Great Mouse Detective in this one?
Yes. Gameplay wise, I do not care for Detective Peach.
Yeah. So, this is another one that feels like a break that I don't.
This is one that
really
I dread.
Yeah.
This is one that I don't really like. And it feels, I was expecting to enjoy this because, I'm a sucker for whodunits, for mysteries. So I was expecting to like this, but I really didn't. It's a lot of, and I think it's just because I'm bad at it. Like the rest of the game is so
hard to be bad at.
That it makes I recognize that I must be missing something, because there are parts of it where I'm like, are you just supposed to guess? Is there some way that I'm supposed to know what this is? Maybe I don't know.
No, it all feels like trial and error. Like
But basically what you do is you are wandering around. Sometimes you're presented with like 3 different doors or 3 different things. It's something that they do a lot in this is, hey, you're presented with 3 different things. You have to figure out which one is incorrect. And to do that, you like wander around, and when you're ready to find something suspicious, you like press B and then hold B for a while, and then she has a little animation, like a little cutscene where she does the Phoenix Wright thing.
Right.
Like points, and then it tells you whether you're right or wrong, but the stakes are so low. I don't know. It doesn't really work for me.
I mean, it a little bit has the problem of that Christmas Murder, She Wrote that we watched, where it's like, you can't murder someone at Christmas.
Right.
You can't murder someone in a Princess Peach game. So, like, yeah, like you say, the stakes feel low.
Up next is Ninja Peach.
Ninja Peach. This one, okay, let's talk about what she looks like. A little bit like an ARMS character almost.
Yeah, I was going to say Greninja. Imagine
Yes.
Greninja.
Well, because, I mean, we're leading here really with the scarf, right?
Yes.
She's wearing a green and gold scarf that has, like, kind of cool designs on it. And then otherwise is mostly just wearing, like, a black ninja outfit. And the black ninja outfit and scarf, like, the combo looks pretty cool. And she's wearing, like, red sandals.
I like that she has a braided belt that has that, again,
the brooch on it.
The brooch on it. But otherwise, yeah, real Greninja vibes here.
And she's wielding 2 kunai, which are these like ninja knives, which are very like silver and intimidating.
Gameplay wise, I don't like the kind of like stealth in air quotes section.
The stealth is very funny to me. It's super simple, and you are almost never actually genuinely challenged by it. Because like you do the stealth really takes like 3 forms, right? There's the you go underwater, you hide in the grass, and you like hold up the screen to like blend in with something behind you, a wall, a surface of any kind. And then you're just like staying out of the line of sight of sentries as you are infiltrating a space. And it is very like it is one of the easier things to accomplish in this game, but I don't know, it's so funny. Like the presentation of it is so funny to me that I like doing it.
Yeah, I don't really care for that part, but what makes up for it for me is I love the running sections.
Yes.
Where they become auto scrollers.
Yeah.
And again, it's really simple, like jump at the right time.
Yes.
That is basically all you have to do. But this game is really good sometimes at making specific moments feel really satisfying, even though the action that you're taking is really simple.
Yes.
And I think the auto-scrolling sections where you're like running and it's asking you to jump, because there's times where like you'll jump onto the wall, and so you'll do a wall run,
right,
and then you have to jump again.
Yes.
Like,
well, that's the other thing is that she has that like wall run jump, but she also is it this one that she has the wall jump?
It is, yeah. Where if there's 2 walls, basically, like a classic Mario,
right.
or Metroid, there's 2 walls close to each other. You can like jump back and forth to get up a wall. She does have that. But I love the running sections of this. I love the like auto scrolling elements. Those are a lot of fun to me.
And sometimes you can ride a giant wave.
Yeah, yes.
Which is very cool. I don't know. I feel like this one is pretty good. I could play like a whole game of like Ninja Peach. You know what I mean?
Yep. That brings us to Figure Skater Peach.
Yes, she looks like she's in Frozen.
Yes, with a shorter gown, so that way she doesn't trip while she's figure skating.
She looks like she's in Frozen on Ice.
Yeah, that is, yes. A Disney on Ice presentation of Frozen.
Like right down to the gloves that sort of like disappear halfway up her arms. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, that's part of a onesie that she slips into, and what looks like skin there is really just skin-colored fabric because it's cold.
Yeah, it's very Elsa.
Yes.
The gameplay here is Peach is always on the move.
Yep.
She's always skating, and so you are sometimes making circles around enemies in order to like entrap them. Sometimes there's like spotlights on the ground.
Yep.
And you have to skate to that particular spotlight before it moves and strike a pose and that sort of stuff. I think this is fine. This is a fine one to me.
This feels like a good diversion to me. Like in the same way that Detective and Patissiere are like, here's a different take on this. This one feels just a little bit more like, I don't know, I'm always going to gravitate towards the more like action focused ones of these, and I think this like generally delivers on that. But I do feel like there's very little to talk about in like the look of it, and maybe it is because we can just summarize it as easily as she looks like Elsa from Frozen.
Yeah.
But it's not the most fun to talk about it, I don't think.
Which brings us to Dashing Thief Peach.
Now, a mouthful, hard to say. Dashing Thief Peach. She looks like
Zorro.
She looks like Zorro. Yes, and then like a little bit of Carmen Sandiego.
Yes, the hat for sure.
With the hat. Um, although like obviously not red. She's mostly wearing like, is it like black or kind
Yeah,
of like
I can't tell.
maroon?
I was trying to pull up another image.
Yes.
And
Okay.
it's really hard to tell. It could be maroon. It could be brown. It could be. It's like it's like a dark chocolatey color almost, like kind of purpley.
Right, and then she's wearing like a fedora and a domino mask.
Mm-hmm.
And she the do we have anything else to say about like the way she looks? This one feels like design wise like pretty like boilerplatey.
Kind of boilerplate. For some reason, I like it more than the boilerplate detective one, but maybe it's just the domino mask.
Domino mask, like I feel like goes a long way. She's doing a little bit of a Persona 5 thing here.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yes.
she's Joker right here. And wearing white gloves, which I guess Peach does quite a bit, but not all the time in these transformations. To talk about gameplay now.
This is another one that I love.
Yes. And part of that is just like the level design is very like it feels like a little more interesting and intricate in that you're like flipping a lot of switches to change things and like go through doors and like reverse directions of conveyor belts and stuff. But it's mostly built around this grappling hook.
Oh, the grappling hook is so good. And then when they pair the grappling hook again with these like auto scroller levels.
Yes.
Whereas with the Ninja Peach, when the auto scrollers are very much like just jump at the right time and we will make her do the cool thing, like run on the wall and all that stuff. Dashing Thief Peach takes a little bit more like actual like platforming to say, okay, you did the hook. Now, what direction do you want to go? Or like, you have to complete the swing, and it's not a lot, but it's just enough, especially when it picks up speed a little bit to make it really satisfying and fun.
Yep, I absolutely agree. Dashing Thief Peach, fun. Next up is Mermaid Peach.
Another outfit that I would say is pretty. It's not bad, but it's pretty rote.
Yes, that's right. I mean, she looks like a mermaid.
Yep.
And so, on the bottom, we've got a scaly fishtail. And on the top, she's got the sort of requisite pearl necklace and a tube top, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
That's like pink, and it's sort of the trans colors, right? She's got the light pink
and
the light blue. Hair just flowing free on this one. She's not tying it up because she's got to be a beautiful mermaid.
Yep.
And like gold bangles as well on her wrist.
Yeah, it's a good look. I like that the scales on the like mermaid part of her are a mix between pink and like that.
Yeah, kind of playing
color.
In the same color palette as the tube top she's wearing.
Yeah. Thoughts on the gameplay?
The gameplay is bizarre.
It's singing based. So her power is that she sings, and when she's singing, she can control fish.
Right. So she's half Ariel and half Aquaman.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
So you're swimming, and then it's almost like puzzle. Like you command a school.
Do you think they
fish.
meant for this game to come out last year? Because 2023 was the year that we got live action Little Mermaid and Aquaman 2.
Maybe it would have been just like Kismet, like it would have been in the air.
Right, yes.
So you're swimming around and then you'll encounter little almost like puzzle elements, like giant clams that you need to open.
You need to move them
or like seaweed that has to be unfolded in a precise order.
Yeah.
And so what you do is you as you're singing, you stop moving when you sing. It's a little Resident Evil 4-y. So when you're singing, you stop moving, but you control this like beam of light that can gather fish, and when you have fish, they can you control the direction of those fish. And so if you need to open a shell, you would have the fish swim down and then up, and then they'll like push it open.
Yes.
Or you would command them to like swim to the right and then to the left to move that piece of seaweed, and then control them down to move another piece.
Right. So it's a lot of, and like you don't really have to be too aware of where Peach herself is positioned during all of this, because like the fish are doing most of the collecting of things anyway. This is one where I feel the sort of rewards of Princess Peach Showtime are almost entirely in the experience and not in the gameplay experience, because it is really interesting and fun and funny to see these like prop fish moving around these stagecraft clams and stagecraft seaweed panels and all that kind of stuff, and the fact that while you're engaging the singing mechanic, she is singing, and like she sings along with the background music, so like all of that adds up to an enjoyable experience. But while you're doing it, you're kind of like, what am I doing? Right? Does that read true for you?
Yeah, it is. But you're right. It is an enjoyable experience. And like you said, when she's swimming around, like if you're not pressing the sing button, the background, like her voice fades out.
Right.
And then when you push the button, her voice picks up right in time with the background music. Like all of that works really well. The kind of finale of the first level where you're the mermaid is a concert, and so there's like a big orchestra, like sea creature orchestra playing, and then other fish swim into view, and what you're trying to do is collect them in the allotted time that you have. I don't know, it's weird, it's bizarre, but it kind of works for me as an experience.
I mean, and for me, this is where like it demonstrates the specific and unique joys of Princess Peach Showtime. I can't say that it's like my favorite joy or pleasure in the game, but it does feel almost the most unique.
It's unexpected for sure.
Absolutely.
Finally, we have Mighty Peach.
And I gotta say, I've not done any Mighty Peach levels.
Okay, I have done a Mighty Peach level, and it is not super memorable to me.
Okay, let's talk about the outfit first. So it's a little bit Power Ranger Peach. Like, I guess that's the broad pitch here. But like she's kind of just wearing like a generic superhero outfit, right?
It's red.
Yeah.
It's like a dress, and again a kind of tube top thing over a black bodysuit.
It does seem like a black bodysuit, and then like these red like flared cuffs around her wrists. And then her boots are pretty cool. They're like cool. a darker, they're like a maroon sort of color, and they've got that sort of superhero like different sections to them where like you're like, is that a separate knee pad or is that part of the boot? So it looks a little bit more like kind of Iron Man-y there.
And she's not really wearing a helmet. It's like a visor with ears, with like what would you call that? Like,
it's like in Mission Impossible Fallout when Tom Cruise and the Witcher, what's his name?
Yes, Superman.
When they jump out of the plane at the beginning, that they're wearing these like helmets that are like
Henry
oxygen helmets.
Cavill,
yes.
Cavill.
Where it's like got a huge window to the face. That's what this looks like.
Yes.
And then like weird little red ears holding them onto.
Yeah, like almost like headphone type.
Yeah, like headphones.
Covers. Yeah.
I didn't need to invoke a Mission Impossible 6, I guess, but I did.
Okay, so the part of this that I remember is at the end. Oh, so there are UFOs that are abducting Theets. And so in the beginning, you're just kind of like punching the UFOs and they fly away. But then there's a flying, side-scrolling, auto-scroller type level where there are more UFOs and you're like shooting them and all that kind of stuff. It's not that memorable to me. Like I would say that it's serviceable. It delivers what it promises, but it's not particularly fun or exciting.
There's some part of this that feels like bog standard near future anime nonsense that I don't really care about. It makes me think of the section of Live Alive that I was the least interested in, the near future, which was sort of the same thing. So yeah, it's I again have yet to play it, but kind of my least favorite of these so far.
I think I just wish all of it was a little bit more specific and weird.
Yeah.
Like, it is so generic superhero-y. I don't know, like, I'm disappointed that this is what a superhero Peach looks like. It
Yeah.
feels like it could be so much more than what it is. And I feel that way about the gameplay too. Not very memorable all around for Mighty Peach.
Okay, so now we have been through them. Let's start to nominate some of the bottom of the list here. And I think like Detective, Mighty, and possibly the Patissiere is so cute. So,
Well, but I do think that that's right. That's like the bottom group. I just don't think the Patissiere. I would say, okay, for me, the bottom like 4 that we could then figure out
okay,
would be Detective, Mighty Peach, Sword Fighter, and Patissiere.
Ooh, because the sword fighter as a costume not particularly compelling, right?
And the gameplay not particularly compelling, but not bad.
Not bad by any means. It just the thing that is most frustrating about the sword fighter is that it could be very good, and it's not. But so I think probably we're saying Detective Peach 10, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Of those 4, probably the worst. Then maybe Mighty Peach, because like I find the costume to be like the least compelling.
The costume's the least compelling, and the gameplay I think is more fun than Detective, but it's not very dynamic.
Yeah, and she doesn't even have a hat that we don't know the name of.
Yeah, that's right.
So then above that, do we go Patissiere or Sword Fighter? Now the Patissiere, look, I may not love the gameplay, but the outfit is so
high
cute.
marks for the outfit.
High marks for the outfit.
Yeah, I think I would go Sword Fighter next.
I think you're right.
And then Patissiere above that, buoyed purely by the outfit.
Yes, and possibly docked a point because she won't stop dancing.
Unless the shoes she's wearing are cursed, and by putting them on,
right.
she can't help it. In which case,
and
not her fault,
right?
But
still docked points.
Still docked points.
Also possibly shrunk down. We don't know. All right. So in maybe the next category above this, I think that's where we put probably the figure skater and the mermaid, right? Is sort of the middle. Because I sort of feel like the rest of them, Kung Fu, Cowgirl, Ninja, and Dashing Thief, those are in the competition for like the best of them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, mermaid and figure skater are sort of in this like middle space here. I think probably mermaid is next. And then with the figure skater above it, but let me know what you think about that.
My instinct was to go the other way.
Okay.
Just because I liked, like you said, like the holistic experience of the mermaid one. This one is tough.
It's
because
tough, right?
The figure skater, I do think the gameplay
is more fun,
but
less unique.
Yeah, but the experience of the mermaid thing is a cool experience.
I mean, it comes down to which do you prefer, Frozen or Little Mermaid?
Yeah, no, that's true.
I mean, right?
Oh, it's really on the line right now.
I mean, if 1-to-1, if that's exactly what it is, the answer is Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
right?
I do think it's Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, I think I would go figure skater then mermaid, but I don't feel super strongly. So if you
do that. Let's do that. Let's do figure skater next. And then the mermaid coming in at number 5, which means then we have to sort out the top 4, which again, just to recap, are Cowgirl, Kung Fu, Ninja, and Dashing Thief.
My opinion is that I don't know the order exactly, but I would do Cowgirl and Ninja as 3 and 4, and Kung Fu and Dashing Thief as 1 and 2, some sort of order. I don't.
So where I push back against that is I think the look, if I'm just judging the look of these 4, Cowgirl number 1.
The outfit is very good.
The outfit for Cowgirl Peach is so good, if only because of the hat with Bowser horns on it. It's just such a striking detail, as if to imply where another. I mean, first of all, putting bull horns on a hat already crazy, right? But to be like, okay, because like a cowboy conquers the bull, okay, whatever. But like this means that she like beat and killed Bowser.
Yeah,
and put his horns on her hat.
I like to imagine in this universe that just like Buffalo, there are just roaming hordes
Right.
of Bowsers
Right,
out
well,
on the plains.
Right, before the white man came through building a railroad and wiped them all out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, Princess Peach, the lone cowgirl out on the prairie, rounding up Bowsers
Yep.
and eating Bowser meat to survive.
I also just think the giant or they're not giant, but the big like leather gloves and the boots. I don't know.
The look is very good.
The look is very good.
The look is very good.
So I understand that it's gameplay wise. I would also probably put it third behind Dashing Thief and Kung Fu. But I find the look so good.
I know. No, that's a good point because I would say the counter to that is Dashing Thief, where the outfit I don't really care about that much.
Right.
But the gameplay is a lot of fun. And it's not that the gameplay for Cowgirl is bad.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. It's got that level 3 of Battletoads quality to it sometimes. But I think what we have to reckon with is the fact that the Kung Fu Peach kind of has both the look and the gameplay going for it.
That is true.
Right? Like, I think her wearing that like battle kimono or whatever it is just so sick. And then the gameplay is like genuinely satisfying. And she's knocking bad guys together. So that may be number one.
That may be number one. And then Cowgirl number two. And then I would put Dashing Thief above Ninja.
Yeah, I think that's how I go as well. So we're saying number 4 Ninja, number 3 Dashing Thief, number 2 Cowgirl, and number 1 Kung Fu.
Let's just read it back.
Okay.
But I feel good about this.
I feel good about it too, but let's just let's assess where we are. Detective Peach at number 10.
Mighty Peach at number 9.
That's Mighty number 9. That's funny the way that works out. Number 8 is Sword Fighter Peach.
Number 7 is Patissiere.
Number 6 is Figure Skater.
Number 5 is Mermaid.
Number 4 is Ninja.
Number 3, Dashing Thief.
Number 2, Cowgirl.
And the number 1 best transformation in Princess Peach Showtime is Kung Fu Peach.
Yeah, I mean that reflects my feelings. Does it reflect your feelings as well? All right, Mark, that's our ranking. Let's close this out. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We appreciate you listening or contributing or whatever you do for us. We like it. Thank you in particular to our 16-bit patrons, Connor McKay, Patrice Millette, David Henley, Alias X, and Kyle Seaborn. We like that you are here with us. Remember, if you'd like to join our Discord, all you gotta do is email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers, saying thank you for listening.